Podcast episode whatever. Today we got something to talk about, so that's progress from last week. We're here with Chris as always. How you doing, Chris?
Pretty good, Gump.
Pretty cool. Okay, so today we got one main topic, and then if you guys got any questions, just shoot them. We'll talk about it. Just know I'm not going to be talking about the She-Hulk news. The She-Hulk news being that they casted her. Never heard of her. She looks cool. She might be talented. I don't know enough about her. I'm pretty sure no one knows anything about her.
Dude,
so,
the Twitter sphere is all pissed off because she don't got big old boobies.
Are you shitting me?
I'm not kidding. I've seen a couple tweets, people retweeting the fact that she doesn't have big green titties.
Wow.
Yeah.
People are thirsty, bruh.
Oh man, they're thirsty, especially on that Twitter.
Oh my god. Like, imagine being mad at being, like, casting someone who doesn't have these large-ass breasts for a comic book character.
Right, this guy said something like, short, like a 5'2", flat-chested She-Hulk? No, thank you.
You know,
I'm like, oh my, you know what that millennial fucking, I'm a privileged motherfucker, I got an opinion because I got a phone that gets internet access kind of ass attitude?
Yeah. Exactly. I know exactly.
It was trash, bro. It was fucking trash. Like, I could care less.
Yeah, that's dumb. Like, really dumb. Did you get the notification by any chance?
What notification?
For the stream. I don't see it on my streaming. There we go. Yeah, I got.
Did you hit refresh?
Yeah, no, I hit refresh like 15 times. That was weird. But yeah, I see it right here. So that's not good. So that probably means
it's
it said.
No bueno.
Yeah, it's no bueno. So let me go tweet this out really quick on my Twitter. Not the last Thursday.
Not the last Thursday. Because we both did that. I did it the first day. Where I liked the tweet, and you're like, "Don't do that." I'm like,
"Don't do that." Then I fucking did it. Right? Then I did it. I'm like, wait. So, but yeah, no. That's one. Those are the kind of people that are like, if it's not exactly like the comics, get the fuck out of here. Like,
what do you expect by now, though? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, seriously. I don't know what I'm expecting. Like, people lost their shit over him. Like,
this shit anymore.
Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's not 5'4". And now guess what?
I'm the first one, dude. I'm not gonna lie. When I sat in the movie theater, okay, I was in high school still. I think I was going into my senior year, 2000, right? Yeah, I was going into my senior year. I was like 17. I remember being, he doesn't look like Wolverine from the comic books. Who the fuck is this Cyclops-looking, skinny-ass, fucking John Marston-looking motherfucker?
Don't get me wrong. Have those characters who didn't look like the comics were bad.
That's Rogue. That's Rogue.
Yeah. That's the one I would excuse. That's the one I excuse when people are like, "That's not Rogue from the comics." That's the one I understand. You know why? Because she didn't have all her abilities. No, because she didn't have all her abilities, and she was just an angsty teen who did nothing. I'm like, cool, I guess. So, and then at the end of 3, she gets rid of her abilities. I'm like, are you fucking shitting me?
Yeah, like, because she wants to touch Bobby.
I want to touch Bobby's ice pox. I want to touch him.
If I'm not mistaken, like, Bobby Frost in the comic books, I think he was like one of the first gay superheroes. I'm not, dude. Is Webhead on the line? Because Webhead could totally check on my ass and make sure that I'm. But I think that he was gay.
If Webhead, I think I remember hearing something like that. Like, I remember.
Happy birthday to Webhead, by the way.
Yeah, happy. What was it? 23rd birthday, dude. Happy birthday, my dude. Dude, that was so cool. Did you see that Twitter thing?
Dude, I did. I made an ass out of myself, but I saw it.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that's fucking dope, dude. Like, getting like someone like the likes of Kevin Conroy to say your name, dude. That's dope. Man, that's crazy. But like, yeah, with the whole She-Hulk thing, just like, yeah, you would think, like, again, giving the internet too much credit, you would think that just sitting down, realizing, okay, just because it's not like the comic books doesn't mean it's not going to be good. Because look, we got Hugh Jackman who played the role for over 17 years. 17 years of one role, constantly working out, and he sold it. He got the personality. At the end of the day, that's what I really care about, is the personality, and are they like from the comics. It doesn't have to be like this crazy physique thing unless it is something about their character. And then now
they're comic book characters. You can't get those physiques in real life. Like, you see how shredded you are? That's 0% body fat. Do you know what you have to be eating? And they're fighting crime? No. They don't have time to, because to keep their bodies like in the comics, they have to hit the gym.
Yeah.
5 times a day and eat like raw chickens and shit. Like,
like when you look at someone who's genuinely fit, like without doing that extreme shit, someone who works out at the gym, right. I'd say like 5 times a day. Not 5 times a day, 5 times a week, right? You don't really see that, like the creases, the rippedness. You just see like a normal human being with with a 6-pack, right? But you don't see like these fucking like dense muscles and shit like that. What like Hugh Jackman had, and like that's like, what is that, like when you don't drink water for like 3 days straight, so it like really like shrivels up your body, so you can really see the tones of the muscle,
the veins and shit.
And shit like that takes a lot of hard work. And then Hugh Jackman did that for 17 fucking years. Give the dude credit. And guess what? Everyone does. Now no one can see a world without him. And now we're talking about someone's breast size. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious?
To be fair, in the comic book, she got some tig old bitties.
Yeah, bro. You know, it was literally just someone who's like, dude, the Hulk could be hot if it was a girl. Just slap some, big old tits on that shit.
If the chick is green, my dick don't know. I bet the inside is pink. That's all that matters, right? Oh shit.
Oh, Jesus, this is getting weird. This is getting weird. Hold up. Chris is like, I'm a top. Not anymore. Not with She-Hulk in the bedroom.
She's going to Hulk out on you.
Yeah. She's like, big Madden baby. She's going to turn Russian out of nowhere. She's like, big Madden baby.
Right.
And just pick you up.
She-Hulk sex.
You're going to break your spine, bro. It's going to be like angel dust.
She-Hulk smash.
My hips.
How come She-Hulk never get man? She-Hulk always pull penis off. She-Hulk angry.
I don't know much about She-Hulk.
She-Hulk used dick on myself.
Do you know much about She-Hulk in the comics? Because I don't. At all.
No, I don't. No,
because I'm not even gonna pretend.
That she's the cousin. I think she's the cousin. No,
yeah, and one of the incarnations. No, I think she was cousin. I think it was cousin. And if I'm not mistaken, she's like, I know she's a lawyer, but she has control of her Hulk.
Lawyer.
Whatever. Lawyer. Whatever.
Lawyer.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying lawyer, but whatever. You do you. You do you. It's lawyer, but whatever. Anyway, okay, whatever. It's a Jersey thing probably. I don't care. Anyone in the comments can prove me wrong, but I don't care. It's lawyer. But anyway,
lawyer.
I feel like she has control of her abilities early on. Like what we got with Professor Hulk, she's like that almost all the time. We're not gonna get like a raging Hulk.
No, she doesn't get like super huge. I think she has the Hulk, but not to the extreme as Banner. Like depending on which origin you read beyond, I think there's one iteration where it was like something to do with his actual DNA of the Bruce Banner like family or whatever. So like she has that, and then she got interfered with the gamma ray experiment, and she got near it, and it mutated her a little bit. And
not that extreme, right?
Right, but I've never seen what she looks like when before she turns.
It's 90% of the time. Yeah.
Is she always? Maybe she's always green. That's who she was. I don't know if she changes like Bruce does. I have no idea. Yeah,
I think she does, but just not as frequent, because I think she's more open with her abilities, and she can actually control it. Unlike Bruce, again, and this is what I'm assuming, because we don't know much about the character. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to be like these fucking fake comic book warriors who that see like Guardians of the Galaxy coming out, and then they are like, okay, let me find every single comic book I can on these characters, and then act like I was always fans of them. And then
I hate that. Like, you guys are just talking about it now, but I liked Guardians of the Galaxy way before they made the trailer.
Yeah. I'm like, let's check your feed really quick. Oh, wow, not one singular mention of the comic book character. I only had to talk about them. I'm like, oh, that's crazy because the second the trailer came out, you did nothing but talk about the characters. It's crazy. Like, literally, wow, like there's a 2-week silence period about Guardians of the Galaxy. Now you won't shut the fuck up about them. Crazy. Interesting. Yeah. What up, Wedhead? What's up? By the way, we literally just wished you a happy birthday. So I hope you're doing well, dude. Happy 23. So, no, there's not much to talk about She-Hulk. Like, again, the casting is cool because it means it's happening. I'm interested to see what they're going to do.
I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the series. Yeah, definitely. But I'm not going to... Look, we're filmmakers, Gump. We have to... there's a sense of vanity that goes on in the industry. But to some point, you got to find a way to make the talent and the vanity match. And that's... Look, at the end of the day, if it's a good series, I'll give it a watch. I'm not
definitely
pissed about the source material. I'm not pissed with the direction they're taking because my expectations are 0.
Yeah,
I'm going in fresh.
Yeah, agreed. And you know what I'm hoping they do is they finally use the leader in this show because they built up the leader in the Incredible Hulk, and I know they can't do an Incredible Hulk solo movie because Universal owns the distributing rights, and Marvel ain't gonna share that credit and the dollary dues with them. So you can just...
I don't know, man. There's a lot of buzz going around with this Hulk versus Wolverine movie, or Wolverine versus the Hulk.
Wait, when this? Man. What?
I would really love for them
as a one
5
shot
years from now. Introduce Wolverine like they did in the comic books.
Oh, that would be dope.
With him tracking down the Hulk and they have a fight. Like, that's how Wolverine was introduced in 1968, I believe. Webhead, am I wrong? 68, 66, something like that.
Speaking of Webhead, he said, yeah, She-Hulk got a blood transfusion from Bruce because she was badly injured and got her power. So that makes sense. So she doesn't have 100%.
Okay, I knew it was something like that.
Okay, so that's why she's not as powerful, but she is quite capable. That's why she's got like automatically the brains, but like she has the brawn, but not on level with the Hulk. So
she's in control of her Hulk.
Yeah, like from everything I've seen, she was. Like a lot of the like concepts I saw from the Disney Plus show was her in the courtroom as She-Hulk. So
and that's the thing I hated about the MCU. When they merged them together, and then they merged them together off screen when they merged Bruce with the Hulk. I love the dynamic that Bruce Banner is always on the edge of being pissed off and going Hulk mode. But now he's always Hulk mode. And he's not even the Hulk anymore. He's just like Bruce with the... It's not... Dude, they fucking shit all over what they were... the character was stupid. The Hulk is stupid. That's what he is. Like,
see, like
the Hulk, he's just... He's nothing but rage. Like, I don't like mixing it. That is so stupid.
See, I was excited to see the Professor Hulk, but they just did nothing with it. The only thing they were using that to build up to was so he could put his hand in a glove and snap his fingers. That's the only thing they built up with. And me, as someone who was excited to see Hulk finally start, like in Ragnarok, when we saw him talking, I lost my fucking shit. I'm like, oh my god, I know where this is going.
I thought that they were going to carry that on, and that Hulk would have snapped. Like, I would have loved them having like Thor and him having like an argument about who gets to snap it. And that we can call back to Ragnarok, but it's like, oh man, this shit's Gamma, and I'm like, I'm Gamma, so I'm gonna snap it, and then you're gonna fuck your hand up. Like you might be the most OP comic book character ever. Like, I'm serious.
Yeah, they nerfed him. They nerfed him hardcore. In the movies.
The Hulk, the Hulk can get as powerful as pissed as he gets. So there is no limit to his fucking power.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all built on how pissed off he gets. So it could be unlimited.
That's why it was always interesting to see how a Hulk versus Thor story, mainly because Thor can win, but if the fight gets drawn out, Hulk wins. Because Thor knows he's got to get in and out as fast as possible. If he can't knock this dude out or calm him down within a certain time frame, Hulk's level of anger is going to be unmeasured, and then he's just going to literally beat the living shit out of Thor. And that would be something cool to see, especially with something like a Wolverine. Like, how do you top Hugh Jackman's Wolverine? Like you said, wait a couple of years down the line, and then have like I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe it's an X-Men movie, but Hulk as the villain. Like, that
I don't know how they're going to do the Hulk, though, because they've already established the Ruffalo's Hulk so much, they just can't reintroduce another Hulk.
No, I'm saying I feel like it's still going to be like, it's going to be like an old, like a quote unquote older Hulk, if like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like there was an older Hulk in the animated stuff that ended up going like ape shit because he just like he isolates himself or something like that, and he's just as the Hulk for so long, and something happens. Either he got mind controlled, or again he finally snapped mentally and lost his temper. And it would be cool as like this big mission is the X-Men got to stop him because the Avengers are all over the goddamn place. So I think that would be a very interesting first X-Men movie. But I know a lot of X-Men fanboys are not going to be too happy with that because that's not an X-Men traditional villain. But I think that would lead into a very cool solo Wolverine versus Hulk fight because
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go. Yeah. No, you go, dude.
I was gonna say because we're talking about mutants, you know.
Yeah.
And Kevin Feige was hinting at, like, remember back, with the quantum realm and everything, talking about, like, he was recapping, and I heard this person going back and he was discussing that there's, like, civilizations and total worlds in the quantum realm, and there's something that where they can use, like, quantum energy to manipulate human DNA. So we might get mutants from the quantum realm.
Okay.
That's how we get mutants into the MCU. I don't think that's never been confirmed, but like,
there's a lot of ways they can do it. There's plenty of different ways they can.
I've always been thinking about, like, how are you going to get the mutants in there?
Yeah, exactly, and it's going to be very, very, very interesting.
Because they can't be. They're smart enough to know that they can't be already existing.
Yeah, because it was already hard.
Yeah.
It's already a hard pill to swallow with like the Doctor Strange universe existing.
How many times has the world been in peril, and we could have used a fucking handful of fucking mutants and shit?
And plus, a lot of the mutants are the more overpowered characters in the comic books. Like when you look at the lineup of the X-Men and their rogues gallery, they're so overpowered that where the fuck were they when Thanos showed up? Where were they when a bunch of robots were taking over the goddamn world? Where were they when a giant wormhole appeared out of nowhere, like in New York City? Like it was already a hard pill to swallow with the Ancient One being in New York City, but she was just chilling on her rooftop, just doing nothing, just going phew, phew, throwing magical frisbees. I'm like, bitch, I know you can do more than that, but whatever. That was a hard pill to swallow. But imagine that us trying to swallow a pill saying that the X-Men were always there. I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Credit scene where Professor X reels out of the darkness and he goes, "It's time for us to be revealed," and he goes like points at his head or some shit, makes a Professor X face. You know? Like, it's time for them to know who we are, and it's like na 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 na.
One thing they could do, which I don't think they're going to do.
I would walk out of the movie theater with my hands in the air like, I'm done. They just don't give two shits anymore. They were here the whole time to explain that to me. I want to know how vampires get in the goddamn MCU.
That's one thing I'm going to be very interested to see.
How?
I don't know how. I guess it's like going to be like a disease.
He's been hunting him. But he's been hunting, and vampire disease has been around this whole time.
No, I'm not saying it's. I'm going to assume vampirism. If I'm the guy storyboarding this, right, and like trying to connect this, I'm going to say it's going to suck. It's going to be stupid, but it's already difficult as it is. But have like this vampirism be relatively new. Like it's like the vampire disease was a thing, but was extinguished a millennia ago, or God knows how long, thousands of years, and then some dumb fuck. Again, very tropish, but this is me literally picking at straws here because there's not many.
It can't have anything to do with like devil or hell. Because
I mean, they could. You really could.
So how? How? Well, you have intergalactic beings already established.
I mean,
and then we're going to go into the philosophical of heaven and hell?
I mean,
dude, bro, dude, name one time they got religious in that fucking in the MCU. Name one time.
I mean, the thing is, they were focusing on the stones. They were focusing on stones. So it's
in order for there to be a god like that, he has to be like Ego, the Living Planet.
Ego's dead though.
Yes, but you're missing the point. Not on purpose. I think I'm doing a shit job of explaining it. You think about going to now. There's heaven and hell in a world where the universe has already been snapped in and out of existence. That in this, it's set up in the world that so much that everything is created in space with the stones and shit like that. You're not gonna bring that big ass story and go down to gods and devils and demons and shit. There's no fucking way that they're gonna have vampires be what we think vampires are. You know what I mean? Like blood-sucking vampires from hell. They walk to Earth because they're damned. Their souls are damned. You know what I mean? It can't be.
You could. I mean, you could because the MCU's already all over the. You're not. Listen.
How are you going to go religious? How are you all of a sudden going to go religious on people?
Because they're now one point that like any of their stories call for religion. It was never a focus point. It was always okay. Science fiction, space.
When a vampire comes at you, what do you do with your fingers?
But that's the point. That's the point. The religion was never brought up. Vampires were never brought up. Yes. So you just introduce
they would already exist. Mahershala Ali is an adult.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah.
He's been killing vampires his whole life, and he's an adult. 30.
That's what I'm trying to say. That you're going to be altering the story. You have to. Like you're altering the story of X-Men. You're already going to be altering the story of these things in order to get them to fit.
But I'm saying there's not going to be any religious undertones to it. There's going to be no fucking holy water. There's going to be no fucking crosses.
I don't know.
There's going to be no stakes. It can't work. If they throw religion in the MCU right now, I'm going to fucking freak out.
I don't know, dude. I think it can work.
All of a sudden now, Jesus Christ and all that shit works. You're gonna be okay with that.
Yeah.
Intergalactic Thanos snapped out half a life on the fucking in the fucking universe, and then you're gonna sit back and watch Mahershala and some guy explain to him that you need to wear your holy waters. Crosses don't work because that's just bullshit. Garlic, whatever, silver. That's heaven and hell. Dracula. The vampire strain comes from Dracula. The myth of the vampire, he was damned from hell. Like, it has to do with religious undertones. Even in Blade, his movies were religious. So it doesn't work in the MCU that they have established. Doesn't. They haven't touched the Bible. They haven't touched any of that spirituality shit. And then all of a sudden you're going to drop it in, and we're just going to... We just watched Thanos snap away half the life. We don't care. Like the people on that Earth, if they don't believe in science more than anything, I don't know what to tell you.
At the end of the day,
what happened to that planet? Fucking alien invasions.
Dude, at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's the MCU. I know you did. It's fine. But at the end of the day, what Webb had said, it's true. It's the MCU. The timeline. They did such a great job with the timeline. But at this point, they're going to fuck it up in some way because they're introducing so many different characters with so many different backgrounds, like a Blade and like the X-Men. I'm just like, why don't you just fucking reboot? Again, just start over. Start with the X-Men and have have X-Men be its own thing, right?
Avengers Cinematic Universe, and then start.
Then do the X-Men.
Universe.
Do the X-Men Cinematic Universe.
That's it. That's it. You're right.
You can also do a Fantastic Four on this.
Have the balls to do that.
Exactly.
They don't. They're not going to. You know that.
I know because business-wise, it makes no sense because. They have a trusted brand already. I'm telling you, the next couple films they release, it's going to really dictate what they're going to do. Because
it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be bad. But Black Widow, I already can tell you, I'm not interested. I'm only going to watch it not because of Black Widow. That's a first. I'm not watching an MCU movie for the MCU's hero. I'm watching it for the villain, Taskmaster. I'm very interested to see what they do with him as a villain.
Yeah,
because
I'm more curious about Taskmaster and that big fat Russian guy who looks like Captain America than I am about Widow. The way they treated Widow is just fucking hot. The way they treated Scarlet, and she let them. Fuck, how dare her? She didn't want to rock the boat at all when she should have rocked the boat. But anyway, they treated her character like shit. They treated her like shit. She should have then had her fucking trilogy of movies. That's retarded. And then you bring in I act like a brick wall fucking Brie Larson, fucking telling us white 30-year-old guys that her movies aren't for us and we shouldn't have an opinion on them. Yeah, hire her. Fuck me, Canadians. All right, go back to Canada and make movies for Canadians. Coming over here with your virtue signaling bullshit when you have dual citizenship. I'm fucking done with you, Justin Bieber.
You okay?
All y'all.
Breathe.
No, I'm fucking like no. They come no. Scar no. They did her dirty.
Breathe. Breathe.
I just love it so much, and I get so mad.
I know you do. I don't know many people that liked Brie Larson's acting. There's a couple of people that love her film for some reason, but people find entertainment in weird places.
I'm so glad nobody listens to us. So they were like, "What the fuck? Chris is going off the deep end."
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, but no, Brie Larson was asked. They should have done her movie after Iron Man 2, or at least after Avengers 2, but then he never did. At the latest they should have done it was Captain Marvel, like replace where Captain Marvel was and put that there. But their whole logic was we need a Captain Marvel movie to understand where she comes in Endgame. When in reality, she didn't do anything. She just showed up, said, "I'm a big, strong character. I'll kill this Thanos." And what she didn't even kill him
at the end, but she wasn't even part of she didn't need her story. If they were going to set her up to be something important at the end of Endgame, then I would have probably been okay, give her a goddamn movie. But she didn't.
She just showed up.
She did, and he bitch slapped her ass.
I'm not gonna lie, I laughed my ass off when that happened.
Oh, me too.
I got nervous because when she started 1v1ing him, I'm like, oh no.
Oh, when she started taking out the ship and shit, I'm like, oh, here we go, Mary Sue, Mary Sue.
I'm like, but yeah, you're right. When she got bitched up, I was like, okay, that's good. But nah, I wasn't a fan of it. Of her film.
Like, you took everything from me. He's like, I don't even know who the fuck you are.
She's like,
you will.
I've got
a vagina.
No, but I mean, to be fair, she is that powerful in the comics. She is.
I know. But
that didn't have the feminist undertone that I think you're giving it.
I mean,
I don't think the only feminist undertone that I got in that film was that one shot with all those female heroes. That's the one time I rolled my eyes. But her crushing Thanos, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Character-wise and power level-wise, it makes sense.
No, I wasn't upset with her power level. I was just like, did that scene need to exist? Like, he took everything from me.
I mean, I understand why.
Back. Why is she like? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, but the fact is, he's dead. Like, he ain't coming back. That's why she's bad. So,
he's back though. Like,
no, but in the TV show that they're gonna be doing, it's not because he got snapped back. She brings him back because she gets that powerful. That's how powerful she is. She, like, in the comics, she got so powerful that she was able to eliminate, 49 or 51% of the mutant population by getting rid of their abilities or killing them. It was one or the other. It was like the House of M storyline. So
the House of M storyline is when Mysterio convinces Wolverine that he's fighting his rogues gallery, but he's really slaughtering the entire X-Men.
What was the one? Like, I forget it, but it's where Scarlet Witch literally takes out a huge portion of the population.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah, but so she gets that powerful. So she's powerful enough to bring back a Vision-like character, and I think they said in the plot synopsis that she actually consults a witch. Like a literal witch. Like, that's what brings her back. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Like, that brings a witch back. Like, brings Vision back. And she's, like, living her fantasy with him to have a life. And then shit hits the hay. Because she basically, in a nutshell, made a deal with the devil. So, that's what that's all about. So, in Endgame, Vision's dead. Everyone's like, yay, we got a chance. And she's like, my lover is still fucking dead. Fuck you, asshole. And then tries to kill him. Let's see. I think the craziest idea on how they can do mutants is the Scarlet Witch can do a reverse House of M or whatever, and is making a timeline that has mutants. I don't want a different timeline. No more timeline jumping, shit like that. The whole fact that Endgame was solved by time travel pisses me off. I hate writing when writers we wrote ourselves into a corner. How did we get out? Time travel. That's why I actually think the Age of Ultron movie is better than the comic. You know why? Because it's literally just Wolverine and some other doofus, Invisible Woman or Invisible Girl, whatever. They go back in time and basically kill Hank Pym, and then then Wolverine goes back to this future. Shit is fucked, and then he comes back, convinces himself not to kill Hank Pym, and then he's like, okay, there can't be two Wolverines in this timeline, so he kills himself so the other Wolverine can live on. That's the Age of Ultron comic book.
How the fuck did Wolverine kill himself?
Well, he gets his pass off to kill him by getting Antimony McClaw to the fucking noggin. That's the Age of Ultron comic, and people are like, I want the comics to be like the film. I'm glad. Listen,
really? Pym used to beat his wife. So
yeah, exactly. He's a fucking douchebag. So that's for any time someone's like, if it's not like the comics, it's bad. I'm gonna bring up the Age of Ultron story. I'm like, you can hate Age of Ultron. It's not a great movie. I thought it was entertaining at parts, but overall, it's not a good movie.
It's not as bad as everyone says it is.
Yeah, but it's entertaining. That's what That's what I'm saying. And but when you look at
the core group of the people that we love, you know what I mean?
It had fun moments. It got a little too goofy at spots, but overall, I had a good time watching it. Then I'm like, okay, let's listen to this Age of Ultron storyline, what it was actually like in the comics, and it was dog shit. I'm like, this story sucks. Like that entire storyline was like 8 issues. That was like an 8-issue story. Well, I just basically said they get together, all hope is lost. You're seeing these fucking characters getting obliterated. They can't kill Ultron because he's in a different timeline. So the main Avengers find Nick Fury's base, like in one of his bunkers. They like 6, 7 of them go to the future to find him and kill him. They all get fucking their asses kicked, and Wolverine's like, I'm not doing this shit.
They all get their fucking what?
They get their asses kicked. They get obliterated in the future, and the remaining heroes in the back are like, okay, well, we got to sit here and wait for them and see what happens. Wolverine's like, I'm not doing this. You guys didn't want to kill Hank Pym. I'm killing Hank Pym. So he goes back in time, and then the whole thing I just said, like, he kills him. The future happens, and he's like, fuck, this is fucked. And it goes back.
Marvel loves to send Wolverine back in time, dude.
It was such a crap story. It's such a crap story. And I don't know. Like, I understand we're getting more, like, the multiverse of madness, the whole Doctor Strange too. Like, if that's the main plot, right? That's part of the plot and just the consequences of Endgame. I'm excited because it's the consequences of time travel. Hence why you don't fucking do it. I think as a writer, I will never write a time travel movie. I think I just hate the whole plot of it.
I mean, honestly, if you write a time travel movie, you fuck yourself because you open the endless causality loop of alternate realities, alternate timelines, questions, grandfather paradoxes. There's a reason why, you'll never, you're not being visited by anybody from the future because it's not fucking possible. The only kind of realistic scientific time travel is, the only thing that we can think about is sublight travel. That kind of does time travel, but it has something to do with time dilation. It's not really time traveling. You're just in a state of time dilation where the rest of the world is doing its normal thing. You're experiencing time dilation. So the speeds, it's physics, but it doesn't work in a backwards setting. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. But that's one thing I totally forgot. We didn't even get to the main topic, but let's talk about this first because we're in deep right now, and I'm loving it. So I was talking about how there should be consequences, and Webhead brought up something I totally forgot about. It seems like there will be consequences because we're going to be getting Kang the Conqueror. I'm not gonna pretend like I know much about Kang the Conqueror, but I know he's like
He's a time travel villain.
Yeah, I know he's like this big time villain, and he's gonna be the villain for Ant-Man 3. So that begs the question: is this the start of our next big bad? Is this gonna be like a multi-arc villain? Because you can't beat Kang with just Ant-Man. You can't. I refuse to believe it. You could science the shit out of it, but if you kill off Kang in an Ant-Man 3, I'm going to be pretty pissed. I'm going to level with you. Because, like, imagine setting up Thanos in Avengers, right? Like, that whole post-credit. They have him in Avengers 2, and they kill him off right then and there. Like, someone as big as a Thanos. What a joke. I mean, they did kill off Ultron. He's a pretty big-time villain. They killed him off. But, whatever. We're not even going to talk about that.
Well, technically, Ultron could still be out there.
Yeah, because of the internet and shit like that. He could be still surfing. But that begs the question, why now? You can easily answer that, why but like I'm just saying, like, that begs the question, why now? And then, to me, I'm just like, I don't know. It feels like it should have happened sooner rather than later, unless he was waiting for, like, this perfect time. But, like, what was he waiting for? The entire, half the universe was fucking wiped out. He should have been like, oh, I should side with this guy. Because like I don't want organic life, or like he should have done something with something. But whatever. I feel like Ultron's time is done for a long time, because they're focusing on too many other things right now to even give Ultron a hint of light. And it sucks because I was really excited for Ultron, and then they just kind of turned him into a man baby. And never really got to that, like, really villainous threat. Like, he never really did too much damage to the Avengers. I feel like Scarlet Witch did more damage to the Avengers than Ultron did himself.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, why was she the main villain? Like, she fucked them up without even laying a finger on them. Like, so it's like, it just makes me beg the question, like, if we get Ultron, I want a different Ultron. I love the voice. I forget the guy who played him, but he was on the show called The Blacklist. Yeah, I love his voice. He was so good in the role. But I just wish that we got a little bit more. Like that first trailer, when that dark, gritty music, and like he's talking about like strings.
Got no
strings to hold me down. Yeah, like, dude, that's so good. Dude, I saw that. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. And then again, I enjoyed the movie, but it's not what I was promised.
I really thought, like, oh, this is going to be the first time that they're going to get their asses handed to them.
Yeah, and it looked like that.
And it didn't. It looked like that. It was set up for, oh shit, it's about to be a phase change, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So if they ever do that again, like set up these villains, like they got to really make these villains a little bit more threatening, especially on the Avengers level threat. Like, I understand, like, you want to pay a lot of attention to these heroes, because at the end of the day, we're going to see these heroes interact, but I feel like you can do those in like these solo films now. We're in a time and era where you have so many heroes. Like, if you're not rebooting, you got to do smaller team up stories. Like, we're getting that in Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. I almost had a stroke there, but those two are going to be doing a team up, and like, why not do more of those? Like just like have a Fantastic Four with Spider-Man, because he's really close friends with Human Torch. Like, on all these other things, like, but I'm not saying that should happen. I'm just saying, like, have like these other small team ups, and I feel like we can get that interaction there. And when it comes to these big team up movies, we can really get that level of threat where we can just focus on the villain for a little bit, give him some breathing room, and then have his time to shine. Because again, in a lot of cases, a movie's as good as its villain, and let's be honest.
Right.
Yeah,
we wouldn't be able to enjoy Thanos the way that we do if we didn't have the other movies to let the characters breathe, so that Thanos could really just take over Infinity War.
Yeah, like, if that movie does not work if we didn't have the MCU. Like, you were even saying that, like, we wouldn't know these characters, we wouldn't understand these characters if we didn't have 20 other films to build up with these characters. But so when we see a look from Captain America, we know what he's feeling, because we spent hours with him. hours. When we see like Tony make a dumbass mistake, we know it's good intentions, but he's panicking. He acts out of fear. And that's why
fear and impulse.
But we understand that, so there's no time. As a viewer, we understand that, so there's not like shining a light on it, like, hey, look at this. We know that, so that gives us more breathing room with Thanos and getting that like subtle moments when he's like talking to Gamora by his throne, where you see that he really cares about her. I'm not sure if anyone caught on to this, but she says, I always hated that throne. He was on his way to sit up there. Then you know what he does? He stops and sits on the step next to her, showing you how much he actually cares about her. And I saw that like the last time I watched, I'm like, oh, I love that. It's like little moments that you can breathe with this character. What were you saying?
Thanos was intriguing because, in all fairness, he's right.
Yeah, talking about overpopulation,
Yeah, the population thing is going to happen.
It's a real problem. It really is.
He's psychotic about the way he's going about it, though.
Yeah, definitely.
But you can tell that it doesn't really bring him any joy.
Yeah, he's not smiling about it. Like, yeah. And that makes him so deep.
It never brought him joy. He always felt like he was just doing what needed to be done, and because he had the strength and the will
to act on it. Yeah.
To act on the let me ask you this: if you were cursed with knowledge and you knew that this is inevitable, but you were powerful enough to do it, like Spider-Man, when he said to Tony Stark, "I'm Spider-Man because if I'm not, then I'm the guy that could have done something about it." And I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? If we were in Thanos' position, would we become Thanos?
It just brings up a great alternate. It just like that's what makes him such a great villain. That's why I was really disappointed with him in Endgame. But I understood that was not a Thanos movie. That was just an Avengers movie. So they had to drop him down the tier list, unfortunately. But like, that's why like I genuinely. Like I'm not afraid to admit it. Like in Infinity War, I cried a lot. I'm not afraid to say it.
Whoa.
But like I know, imagine crying in a movie. But like I cried when Gamora died. Not because Gamora died. I could care less about that useless dumbass character. Whatever. I was the music in the orchestra playing.
I felt bad for Peter Quill because I know that Peter really
cared about her.
Gamora.
Yeah,
right,
but like you see that like it shows you what kind of like. What good CG looks like in today's day and age. When you see him throw her off the cliff and you see the pain and agony in his eyes, I'm like, fuck. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you're making me feel for this character. This guy's
how dare you, movie?
God damn it. And you're like, the dramatic music, the fucking light beam in the sky. I'm like, this is
laying
hard.
There. I'm like, no.
Oh my god.
Our heartstrings, man.
I'm like out of all the characters I thought I would like cry at the death scene, I was not expecting that one to hit me. Again, because it's Gamora, and I was never really a fan of Gamora in general. Like what I've seen her in the comics, never was really a fan. Haven't seen really much of her in the comics either. But even in the movies, I just thought she was just, Quill's girlfriend. She was like the baddest.
Plays her is really cool.
She's really cool. Yeah.
Zeldana.
Yeah, she does a really good job. I just feel like they didn't give her as much to do. I feel like she got the most in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but still didn't really focus enough on her. So, like, I feel like they could have done more with her, but, like, it makes the most sense why they killed her off in Infinity War, because her arc wasn't finished, but they're like, you know what? I feel like this is going to fuck with the fans, because, like, this is, like, a very strong personal connection to Thanos, and they're going to make the audience feel bad for Thanos when he's making this massive sacrifice play. Because we all know he just loves Gamora. Like, the way he treats Nebula versus the way he treats Gamora, he lets Gamora do whatever the fuck she wants. But the second Nebula steps out of line, he rips out a body part and replaces it with scraps. I'm like, so you could tell there's a favoritism there. And that's all obviously shown in Endgame as well. But it just makes that scene a lot much more tragic.
Endgame Thanos was completely different than Infinity War Thanos.
Yeah, 100%. And people are like, "Oh, he didn't have that entire growth or whatever." I'm like, you know what? 6 years. That's the difference. 6 fucking. Not even that. Guardians of the Galaxy to so 2014 to 20. That's 4 years. You don't make that giant 180 from this cold, calculating, speaking like a poem kind of guy to this guy that's like just ready to stab bitches the second they step out of line. That's a complete 180. And 4 years doesn't make you do a 180 like that. Stark had a slow and subtle change from Iron Man 1 to Avengers Endgame. There was a complete difference in those characters. He still had a lot of the flaws from that beginning film to now, but overall his entire perception of life and what he's willing to do, he changed. And that was like what? So that's 20 something years. No, it was almost like 18 years because, Endgame being in 2023 or whatever. So like that's a long time. And you can still see it's the same character. Like you said, Endgame and Infinity War Thanos, they're completely different characters to a whole new standard, and it's ridiculous. I'm just like, when I was watching, that's what kind of pissed me off the most about Endgame. Out of all my complaints, time travel, this and that, it was Thanos. I hated that. I'm like, I love that Thanos. Can we get that Thanos back? I think that's more interesting.
Yeah, I didn't. Right, exactly.
Yet Thanos in Timeline 1 did apologize to Nebula before Thor chopped his head off for a joke. I'm sorry. Crap. Like, it's just
what?
No, I'm just saying, like, he's saying like he was apologizing to Nebula and then he gets his head chopped off. So yeah. Oh, nice job, bros. Damn, nice. That's awesome. They got a win in Apex. Congrats, proud of you. Hey, winning a game in Apex is hard, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's why I wasn't a fan of that Thanos. That's why I wasn't a fan of Endgame. Wow, we took a fucking tangent train. We like, what's crazy? I don't know how I remember, because normally in this scenario I don't know what I was actually going to talk about. Like probably 40 minutes ago, I was going to bring up the whole thing with Blade and like what you were talking about, Blade and the X-Men and stuff like that. So way back then, we're going to take a massive step back. How we're going to introduce the X-Men into the MCU. This is a theory. I want to hear your thoughts on this. What if this is actually farther into the X-Men storyline? So they already had their like little war and stuff like that with the humans and stuff like that, but they finally get their own country, their little like place for just mutants, and that's where the mutants stay safe, because that's the storyline in the comics. And I know that can be difficult to do, because then why did no one reference them? Blah 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 blah. Maybe it was for secrecy, but then how can you kind of bury something so big, like a human versus mutant war, where like why aren't there being like mutants being born around the world, like this? That can bring up a lot of questions. But I was curious if that was like an idea you would be interested in seeing, like all the mutants hiding out in their own personal country, and that's where they're just kind of stationed out at.
All these world-ending extinction events? No,
yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, it's fine, because I know
I know what you're trying to do, but we have so much history.
Yeah.
That it opens up so many what ifs, too many what ifs.
Yeah.
That I don't believe, that aren't plausible for me. Look, I don't even know if I'm going to even move forward in Phase 5 with the MCU. Right now, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But they're really not going to make me care if the mutants have been there the whole time. I guarantee you that. And if vampires and all that shit
have existed.
That they exist in the comic, the way that they exist in the comics, if that's the case, then I'm out too, because it doesn't. You can't just the day they start just putting it in there and not giving a shit about it tying up or like, we may not like the excuse, but if it's plausible, we'll go along with it. But if you're just going, oh, they'll just come and they'll just watch whatever we want, you're going to watch a decline of it. And here's the thing, dude. We're filmmakers as well. Are Westerns as popular as they used to be?
No.
We get one or two Westerns a year, maybe.
Not even
we're gonna
if.
get the hit. We're gonna hit the fatigue, man. It's a fade. It's a fad. Excuse me, not fade. It's a fad. So they're gonna have to really come outside the box and keep things fresh and interesting. They're gonna have to pull another Kevin Feige. They're gonna have to do something with the universe that has never been done before again for it to be relevant and not just them just cha-ching, cha-ching, they'll go see this because this person, cha-ching, cha-ching, they're not even caring about what they're actually doing. I think what made the MCU great in the beginning was like, oh my God, we're doing this really cool thing that's never been done before and it's working and people love it.
Yeah.
They have to do that again. They have to try to do that again. They can't just keep going. And if they start just putting in shit, like Captain Marvel like movies, they're in big trouble.
Agreed. And again, that kind of just tells me that they absolutely, I will always say that they need a reboot. As a creator, as a business, they shouldn't until, like you said, that decline happens because you vote with your wallet. I think they need a reboot and just restructure everything and focus on different characters. Focus on different character interactions. Like the Batman and Superman interaction, that's the Iron Man Cap interaction. Like, okay, we had that interaction, the yin and yang. Let's focus on something unique, something different. Again, I'm just throwing shit in there here and there, like Deadpool and Spider-Man. How are they going to interact? How's the Fantastic Four going to interact with a world filled with mutants? How are they going to do this? How are they going to do that? Like, what if you put the X-Men in a world where there was no really space creatures and space things every fucking 5 minutes, but they focus on the underworld and shit like that, like a Ghost Rider and the Fantastic Four, like this. There's so many you can.
How are you gonna have Ghost Rider in the MCU?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like if you reboot and just start fresh. That's what I'm saying. Like you focus on these different interactions in their own little universe. Have different universes.
Doesn't Ghost Rider exist in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, technically, even though they're kind of it's kind of a separate thing. It's kind of a separate thing. But I'm saying when you cancel out the MCU and you start fresh, like you start back to a phase 1 reboot, and you have a Ghost Rider character interacting with something unique to keep, like you said, to keep it fresh.
If they do that, then you can start with mutants. You can start with all the Ghost Riders, the Blades, because we would believe that those exist in that world because we have no preconceived notions or we haven't seen anything of the world already. So it's starting fresh. You're right. They could do those things, but they could not. And I believe this, and they cannot just throw it in now. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Unless it's a virus. Unless
that's what I'm thinking it's going to be.
Vampirism is like a virus, and they're not even really vampires like we would think. And they're just like it's a mutation.
Maybe
it's like virus.
It could be interesting if they do it's a play on it's like one of the first mutants, right? Like it's actually like a mutant, and but this mutant is just it regenerates, but it only can regenerate by sucking blood and or drinking blood. But it's contagious when he drinks their said blood and doesn't kill him. So it makes it it's a contagious mutation. I think that could be something interesting. What do you think about that? If it's it's a new disease and it's a mutation, so it also connects to the X-Men a little bit.
Because in a sense, Blade is a mutant because he's half vampire.
Yeah, he's a daywalker. Yeah,
he's mutated, but I don't know. I would kind of like to leave you can set up both. I don't see why you couldn't have a Blade running around in a mutant-filled world and vice versa.
Yeah, it's difficult. No matter what, it's difficult. They got a big ass.
That we're going to see Fantastic Four before we see X-Men or Blade.
I think Blade's coming out first before Fantastic Four.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive. Webhead, if you're still in the chat, check that out. I think, yeah, it depends on the scheduling because with COVID and stuff like that, we don't know what's happening. But I feel like they said they had a date for Blade in set, but the Fantastic Four was the last logo they showed at the convention last year. but they didn't have a symbol or like a time relevance to Fantastic Four, but they just showed the emblem of the four, and everyone freaked out.
Yeah, I know. I was watching that.
So like right now we don't know when Fantastic Four comes out. I just hope they get the dude from The Office. I forget his name.
John
Krasinski and Emily Blunt, because they're married and they actually look the parts. And I think like I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know how good of an actor John Krasinski is. I just think he looks the part, and I think he would be really cool. Especially he looks the part. And plus, guess what, guys? He's not fucking 17. He doesn't look 17. He's actually like in his 30s and 40s. He actually looks like a Reed Richards. I don't want to see some Shuri-ass person trying to be the smartest person. And guess what? The second Reed Richards, the second Reed Richards comes into the MCU, I don't want to fucking hear it. Reed Richards is the smartest one in the MCU. I don't fucking care what any of you bitches say. No one's going to convince me. No one. At all. Reed Richards is the smartest guy in the room.
They don't need to, because all you got to do is type in Marvel Illuminati, and the head of the Illuminati, Reed Richards. And he has Richards. It's Reed Richards. I think it's Tony Stark,
Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Namor, the Submariner. He's in there. Cap was in there for a little bit. Then they wiped his memory because he was being a bitch boy. He was going to snitch because they were going to destroy alternate worlds and shit like that. So. Right. Yeah, he's like, you know what? Wipe his memory. Black Panther wasn't there because he wanted to be there. He was just there so like he could protect Wakanda. He's not there like, I want to be part of the Think organization. He's like, I don't trust you fuckers.
If you're going to have an organization, I want to be a part of it to make sure Wakanda doesn't get into the wrong hands.
Yeah, that's basically him. That was him in the comics. Yeah,
I wasn't trying to be racist. I was trying to do the accent, just sound like T'Challa. Don't take it
offensively.
He has a Western East African accent.
And so again, no matter what, if anyone tries to tell me the second Reed Richards gets into the MCU and they're like, sure, he's the smartest person in the MCU, I'm like, okay, you need to shut up. You don't have an opinion. Every time you talk, I just hear the wah, 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 wah. That's all I'm going to hear because you're a fucking idiot. Get out of my face. Like, do you see Shuri in the comics?
Being part of Illuminati, she
you know,
they OP'd her for no reason. I don't understand.
Like, she could be smart, cool, but the smartest in the MCU? No, thank you.
They made her go to she said things like, "Why didn't you do that to people who've been doing this shit their whole lives?" And no,
yeah,
then, like how do you get?
People give me shit. They're like, "Oh, it's a comic book movie. You gotta like suspend your disbelief." I'm like, but there's a thing. It's a tightrope when you're trying to ask people to buy something. That's something you just can't buy. You can buy alternate realities and stuff like that because science hickey, doohickey, blah, 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 blah. But I cannot buy someone who's like, what? How old is she in the movie? 17 years old? 16 years old?
16, 17. Right.
I can't buy someone who studied, like, let's just say the second she came out the fucking womb, she knew how to read and she started reading. There's still no way she was able to absorb as much information as Vision with the fucking Mind Stone, as much as Tony Stark, who's been doing this since he was a fucking toddler, and he's 40-something in the MCU, and fucking Bruce Banner, who is an expert on gamma radiation because he's been trying to find a cure. So there's a thing when you're sick and you're trying to find a cure, it's a fucking pretty strong motivator. Look at Doctor Strange. Because of that motivation, he found fucking magic. So you can't convince me that she's smarter than those fucking dimwits on top of Doctor Strange. No, thank you. That's something I can't buy. I can buy the goddamn rainbow 6 stones to do infinite things.
There was no need to. Right. Yeah. There's no need to make her OP. It didn't need to be there.
It didn't.
It had nothing to do with the story. She could have easily said, "I don't know if I can do this, but I'll try." And then they're like, "Okay, we'll give you as much time as you need." Blah blah blah. She didn't need to say, "I can do this. Why didn't you try it this way?" She didn't need to do that. It was there on purpose. It was there to do. I'm gonna say it, man. It was there to please the virtue signaling SJWs. Because it doesn't belong in the script. And I'm sorry, I write scripts. I tell stories. That they didn't write themselves in a way where oh god damn it, how are we going to do this? Oh, let's make Shuri smart. That's the only way we can get out of this. No, there was like 800.
Even if she was like
go down that road, smart, but she's not that smart. She's so smart that I never even knew who the fuck she was until I saw Black Panther, because I've been reading comic books my entire life.
I never heard.
And I never even really heard of her.
And to be honest, I didn't even know Black Panther had a sister.
Right, I didn't even know that either. And they're like, hey, this is a character we want you to like. We're going to make him OP, just like Rey. I'm telling you the fucking truth, man. That's what they're doing. They're like, oh, we want them to like Shuri, so we're going to make her OP than everybody else and not give him a backstory. And when we say she's a Mary Sue, we're going to call him racist and sexist.
I know you guys were ranting on how they how they explain mutants and vampires. But do you guys remember how they introduced the concept of Captain Marvel in a post-credit scene in Infinity War? Yeah, but that's not enough for mutants, because mutants is not a singular person who was flying out in space, so that explains literally where she was. Because out of all the things in Endgame, that's the one thing that they actually did really well, is the fact like there's other planets out there who do not have the Avengers. I'm like, oh, makes sense. Sorry for being a selfish douchebag.
Right, but you think that the first time Avengers 1, you think during that time, you think that he would have went to his page or went like, you think that Captain Marvel could help with this? Nah, fuck it. These guys can handle it. Like, when do you go, oh wait, there's a fucking portal opening up, invading the country, the world, and you're thinking, this group of characters who I just got them to fight like a unit 5 minutes ago at the end of the movie, I would have been immediately, as soon as that portal opened up, I'd have been like, Captain
Marvel.
Like, fuck this shit. No, they fucked up too, because she was the Avengers Initiative. She's that OP. Like, he didn't need anybody else.
Yeah, that's
beep her, and she'll gamma ray her ass or whatever the fuck, all the way over here and shit.
She's like, okay, I'll be there in an hour. So imagine, like, that would make more sense. Like, if you really think about it, like, she's like, okay, she's gonna have an hour, but the portal's fucking opening up right now. Guys, hey, I know you guys just found out how to fight together as a team 5 minutes ago, but buy us an hour.
If they could have just gone back and wrote a little scene where he's like, where it's like one-sided, where you just hear him go, okay, and how long?
That's not enough time. Okay. We're fucked. Yeah.
Not enough time. He turns around and he just goes, okay, now we need these guys here. Backup isn't coming. And we could be like, who's he talking to? Who's the backup? Speculations, internet, explosions.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, again, that you can easily like write a scene in that.
Captain Marvel in then. They weren't thinking about.
Yeah, they weren't. They were thinking about Ant-Man. They were thinking about Ant-Man before Captain Marvel, which would have been interesting to see. What's the director? Edgar Wright. That would have been interesting to see his take on it. But like he was supposed to be the opener. Imagine trying to open up a cinematic universe with Ant-Man. I think that was best for the MCU that they didn't open up with Ant-Man, because it's a hard pill to swallow with Ant-Man. Yeah, Ant-Man made a bit of money, not a lot, but like that money would not have been earned if they didn't establish themselves as actually decent filmmakers with the MCU. Like, imagine trying to like sell Ant-Man, a guy who could shrink in 2008. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. It wouldn't have made the money it did, and I feel like that really helped. The MCU helped in its existence for that kind of film to be made. Because now, like, without Iron Man, I feel like things like Infinity War would never have happened. Because, like, there's at that time in 2008, no one knew what could be bought and what could be sold in a like digital medium, in the sense of like, oh, people aren't going to like that. That's too fucking weird. That's too out there. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 2014, I thought that was going to bomb. A lot of people don't you fucking pretend that you guys were like, it's going to make $1 billion at the box office. No, like, because I remember when I was on Instagram at this point. This is back when I started out my YouTube channel, like way, like when I was thinking about it, and I'm scrolling through all these like Instagram feeds, and people are like, "Who the fuck at the Guardians of the Galaxy?" Definitely not watching that. I thought it was gonna bomb because no one seemed to be into it. And I was like, this trailer's fucking sick, but I don't know what the hell's going on with the ooga shaka, ooga, ooga, ooga shaka. And I'm like seeing these people fucking flipping, and then you see Peter Quill in the fucking giant ass tree. I'm like, who the hell is that? No one knew. Almost no one knew who the fuck these guys were. Almost no one. There's like 2% of the population, if that, who knew the Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's in the nerd community, not even the world's population. If you're talking about world's population, probably 0.05% knew who Guardians of the Galaxy were. Like, I thought that was going to bomb, but it made money. You know why? Because they established themselves as a universe, so that thing could be sold in that universe just by saying this is in the MCU. And I feel like that's what helped out Ant-Man. So don't you come at me with, I knew he was going to make some money. And like, I remember seeing Ant-Man coming out. I'm like, ooh. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy made money, so I guess anything is possible at this point, but I was still a little cautious. And what was it? Guardians of the Galaxy made more money than Ant-Man. I think Guardians of the Galaxy made like $750 million, and Ant-Man made only like $450, which is still a lot of money for a film called Ant-Man. So, and then I think the sequel made like $700 million.
Shit.
Yeah, it didn't make that much money. Let me look that up really quick. Let's see. Let's look this up really quick. What was the box office for the film Ant-Man? Let's see what we got here. Okay, so I was a little low. It was 519. But still, when you look at that, that's on the lower end of the MCU. That's not a lot of money when it comes to MCU terms. And they're like, oh, okay, that was kind of win. It's still a win.
Necessarily make it a bad film or
no. I thought Ant-Man was great.
I don't think any of the other sub characters are gonna really do as good as the main. It's Captain America. It's Iron Man, Captain America. And at the end it became Thor as like the three most popular Avengers. Chris, it should have been Widow. What?
I'm just saying you just did a perfect segue for our main topic. We've been talking for God knows how long, but now we can finally do our topic. Our main topic. Good. Yeah. Thor himself. Christopher or Christian Hemsworth, whatever. It's probably Christopher Hemsworth. Anyway, so recently he was interviewed about his status in the MCU and if he's going to be leaving. Let me find the screenshot I took because I was watching a podcast on this, and that's when I found that out. I was like, oh, this is fucking interesting. If my phone would actually like to load. When asked if Thor would retire after the upcoming movie, Hemsworth asserted that would not be the end of his character. Are you crazy? I'm not going into retirement, period. Thor is far too young. He's only 1,500 years old. It's definitely not a film that I say goodbye to this brand. At least I hope so, because at the end of the day, it's not his say-so. Now, we were talking about before the podcast, what's her face, Lady Thor, with Natalie Portman. If I know she's going to be in the movie as Lady Thor, I know that's going to happen. So that means we're going to get some sad cancer sequences and blah 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 blah. But
maybe he transfers his powers to her, so saves her life.
I mean, we got at this point in the universe, we got two points of Thor. So we got the axe and we got the hammer. We got Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. She can wield Stormbreaker. I think Thor should keep the hammer.
No, the hammer went back.
No, not that I've seen.
Back in time.
Not that I saw. I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm saying I just don't remember that.
Captain America brought the fucking hammer back to 2015.
Thor versus Silver Surfer, baby. Silver Surfer's not going to be in this. Don't get your hopes up. This is way too soon on a production standpoint to have Silver Surfer in there.
It'd be cool because if Silver Surfer comes, Galactus comes.
Yes, I'm not saying I don't want Galactus and I don't want Silver.
Of fucking worlds.
Yeah, It's going to be interesting how they do that because, by the way, Galactus doesn't really look like that. It's just a way for people to comprehend his existence when they see him. They're like, oh my fucking God! And like, when people see him on like the Skrull planet, I'm just explaining it to the audience. People like those people see the Skrulls. When like the Kree see him, they see him as a giant Kree. So he's not just a giant douche human in a fucking purple suit. That's just the way that the human mind copes with seeing something as grandiose as him. But yeah, the Fox deal happened, what, 2018, 2019? I think it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Thor Love and Thunder was in pre-production before that. I can guarantee you. I feel like the second Ragnarok finished and they saw the numbers like rapidly increasing, being the most successful Thor movie, they hired him back on the spot. We're talking about Waititi here. They hired him back on the spot. They're like, okay, make your film. And 2019 rolls around. Oh, the Fox deal happened. Okay, now any of the MCU films you got coming up can have the X-Men, can have any of the Fox characters. As an artist, I can guarantee you, Waititi is not gonna be like, okay, let me risk my entire story I built from the ground up for the past 2 years just so I can introduce Silver Surfer. That's not gonna happen. Will it be a cool end credits scene though that they added last second? Yes.
He's ultimately gonna do whatever Kevin Feige asked him to do with his movie.
Yeah, and
if Kevin Feige and the team wants to introduce Silver Surfer in his movie,
but I feel like it's just too late into the game, and I feel like if they do introduce him, it's going to be a tiny role, or just an end credit scene, something that's not going to overall affect the major story.
Since we already know the villain, well, one of the main villains is
what's the main villain?
Phase 5 is what's his face?
I forget the main villain.
The Ant-Man villain.
Kang the Conqueror. Okay. It'll be interesting. And Webhead said he's like, I know he's not going to be in the movie. I'm talking about in the future meetup. Yeah, that'll be very interesting. Given that, Silver Surfer is like this fucking basically godlike character. That would be very interesting. I feel like that could be a interesting like early phase Fantastic Four villain or something.
Early phase, fantastic. Yeah, it can work.
Yeah, it can work. There's a lot of things because again, Webhead brought this up earlier. I want Doctor Doom to be the big bad. I don't know who you want to be the big bad, but imagine. Wait, remember how I told you I want the storyline? Okay, big brain time. Dude. Brain is expanding. Nerd time. Okay, so you know how I told you I wanted like that storyline from the game Ultimate Alliance where Doom basically takes the power of Odin, but then I said maybe he takes the power of Thor. What if? Because this happened, I think, in Secret Wars. He tries to take the power of Galactus. What if?
We have to establish Galactus first.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but like I'm talking about like the end like Infinity War story in this universe.
Dude, I can't even fathom something that outrageous right now.
I mean, right now, like we're pretty fucking outrageous. We're pretty outrageous.
I just can't. I don't know. They're going to have to really sell me hard on this mutant shit.
There's a lot of shit that we're going to have to... a lot of shit we have to swallow. But I'm saying, like, right now...
Like, Von Doom doesn't... I don't like that. Like, I never liked Von Doom. Like, he doesn't scare me.
Well, it's the fact that he's intelligent. He actually rivals Reed's intelligence. But it's just in the films, we never fucking got that. You know why? Because they just see Doom as a guy that has electrical powers... Okay, that's not the case, but whatever. He's studied magic and mysticism, but whatever. No, he shoots pew pew lightning, and he's like, villainy, but I'm not really smart. What makes Doom terrifying is his intelligence. He can literally, like, if he was alive, he would have been able to pull fucking Tony's strings like a goddamn puppet. Like, there's been times he outsmarted Reed, but you know how they always end up beating him is his arrogance. So, like, you gotta, like, establish his intelligence as a character and be like, okay, because at the end of the day, 90% of the time, they just beat these characters by outsmarting them. So, what if you can't outsmart them? Like, there's going to be a sense of panic, and like he's a strong manipulator. Like a lot of people see him as this awesome dude, even though his name's Von Doom, but whatever. I feel like you can do this really good if you pay close attention to him. You're going to have to care about Doom more than Thanos. Like, you can't just have him in the background every once in a while. He's got to be a constant presence.
You can't go from Thanos to fucking Von Doom as the
yes, you can.
Bad.
You can.
No, you can't.
There's not much higher you can. You're setting up a level of threat. Level. Yes, Thanos they can be. Doom has stolen godly abilities on countless occasions. He has. Not only is his mind a threat, when he gets that godly ability, he's a physical threat. Like, again, you got to look at this as an intelligence standpoint, how much of a threat he is.
I don't know. If you want to not make me watch the movies, make him the big bad.
Okay. I like your narrow mind. It's incredible. Because what are you going to do after Galactus then? Like, what would you do after Galactus? Now you're tying yourself into a...
That's what I'm saying. What are you going to do? I don't fucking... Like, that's what I'm saying. They don't fuck themselves.
I don't think so, dude.
This can't go on forever.
Well, I know it can't go on forever, but you're, like, as a creative, you're saying... You're doing... You have the mentality right now of sequelitis, where everything has to be bigger and better. Like, that's not the case. No, I feel like that's what's wrong with the MCU right now, because
I'm trying to tell you, do you think that Phase 5 is going to be successful? It has to be a successful.
Well, I'm saying like, take that shit out of the way. Take that shit out the window. No, I'm just saying take that out of the window. It just right now, for hypothetically speaking, assume that it's going to do well. Assume it's going to do well, and just assume that this is going to be just as successful, just so we can talk about this whole what if, because this is just a giant what if scenario.
What if? My brain goes, what if it's not as well? I'm all over.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, you focus on the what if it doesn't work a lot. What if it does work?
I'm not invested in this shit anymore. I'm not.
Well, neither am I, because I guess I'm not. Let's get clear here. I'm 100% with you, DC. I'm really excited.
You're a Marvel shill, you bitch.
No, I'm really excited for what? Fuck you. You fucking little shit. I'm sitting there and talking about, like, dude, we're getting a Green Lantern HBO Max show. Fuck yes, sign me up. We're gonna get all these other shows, movies that isn't with the CW. Fucking sign me up. We're gonna get Michael Keaton back. Ben Affleck's coming back.
Sign me up. You, Master One.
I filed you. I gotta rewatch that movie, because what was it, like 2 weeks ago? I saw Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and I was gonna watch Dark Knight Rises, but I kind of forgot about it. I'm gonna get to the end of that movie, and he's like, "I filed you." I'm just gonna think of all the shit we fucking said. I filed you. He owns a country and outsmarts everyone he encounters, and he has a bunch of Doom bots.
Ooh, big scary man. Motherfucking Thanos had an army, a fucking, like, world-destroying army. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we could debate about this on another... Like,
dude, but you gotta really think about it. Okay, you can not like him as a character, but you can't just say that, because he's not bigger than Thanos. Because, realistically speaking, Galactus is not bigger than Thanos. Because Thanos killed Galactus. He did. And... So that kind of just what's up? What's up?
I didn't think you were gonna bring that up.
Yeah, you fucking cocksucker! You don't think I know my shit? I barely know my shit. Let's get out the way.
Like, I really don't know how he did it, but I remember someone telling me he did that before. Yeah.
Yeah, he there was a time where, like, I remember in the comics, again, comics is ridiculous. So let's get that out of the way. He punched Galactus and Galactus flinched. Without the gauntlet. So let's just remember how absurd comics are. But if we're talking about comically speaking,
Superboy Prime punched reality.
Yeah, he did. And Superman carried the solar system on his back with a fucking rope. So
yeah,
you can't take that shit seriously. But we're here just comparing characters on a power level. I don't recall Galactus ever killing Thanos, but I remember there was a time where the Council of Gods or whatever, like with Galactus and a bunch of other omnipotent characters, they're like, this Thanos dude is being a fucking cocksucker. So maybe we should take care of him. He's like, yep, snap, bitch, fuck out of my face. He's like, bye, Felicia. They die. So again, it's one of those things where you can't just like look at that stuff, because I know Doom outsmarted Galactus for a little bit, and then Galactus was like dying or something like that, and then the Fantastic Four and the Avengers had to restore balance, because if he dies, the universe ends up getting thrown out of whack and out of balance, and shit starts fucking hitting the hay. So they had to like stop Doom and all this shit, you know, because Doom's whole thing is like the look for power. That's his entire character. He knows he's not a Thanos, but he wants to in his head he's like, okay, I want to help people, but in order to help people, I need to be a total douchebag and just run everything as a fucking dictator. Like when he took over his country, things were the shit, but he took over, things started flourishing, but he was a dictator. So anyone who stepped out of line, he fucking schmurdered. So in his eyes, he's like, this is the way things have to be in order for things to flourish. And then he realizes, okay, you got Tony McStark over there, and you got like Bruce McBanner just hitting shit, and he's like, what am I going to do against that? So he studies magic, and he learns a little bit of like mystical art, so you can throw some Doctor Strange shit in there. And then he's like, that's not enough. I need more power. That's what starts his quest for power, to find a god. If it's not going to be Thor, it's going to be fucking Galactus. And if he tries to piss off Galactus, I feel like that's going to be just like these two constant threats building up, and it's going to come ahead, and things are going to hit the fucking hay. Because how do you like top Thanos? You get Galactus and Doctor Doom, but they're like side players, while the Avengers are like, okay, we got Doctor Doom over here. He's kind of like losing control, and now we got a dude who's ready to fucking munch on our planet like it's a McBurger. So we gotta stop this shit. And then they focus on Mick. Fuck you, Mick. Fuck you. No, but they focus on Galactus, not realizing, okay, now while they're distracted, Doctor Doom's over here getting ready to steal his power, and now he's the big threat. And then, you know, Reed, because I'm assuming in this scenario, Reed's in the picture. Reed is one of the few people in the entire universe that actually was able to talk to Galactus, because Galactus doesn't find people amusing. He doesn't find life amusing. He's just there to eat things, to keep the balance. So he just sees people as rodents, as ants. You don't stop to look at an ant and say, yo, what's up, and try to have a conversation with it. But he has a conversation with Reed, because he's like, you're the smartest person on this fucking blue marble. So let me tell you something. You can't kill me, and here's why. Okay, we won't kill you, but just don't touch Earth. Okay, peace out, deuces, and he leaves. But something like that. That's how you top Thanos. You add two big threats in their own right. One's smart and manipulative, and one's a god who's gonna eat you like it's a sandwich.
Jesus, on that note.
Sorry, that was my nerd tangent.
No, you're good.
Okay, the thing is, what Stanley said once is that Doctor Doom has never been defeated because he owns a country by law and he can't get arrested. I mean, there's a point in time where like that doesn't work. So you can own a country, but you can be a war criminal, and at that point, the United Nations is going to get involved. So, own a country or not, you're a war criminal, they're going to come for you. And right. Like at this point in time, I'm pretty sure every fucking country in the planet is going to have their own superhero. So, you know, Russia's got Colossus and the whole situation with the Black Widow. So you got a bunch of fucking ninja assassins over there, and the United States literally has everyone else. So, piss off the United Nations, you're literally going to have like 17 fucking nuclear bombs in the form of people come after you. So, but that's the thing though. Dr. Doom knows he can get overpowered, but he's going to play it smart.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I just so I was shooting a text real quick. But,
oh, okay.
No, I'm listening. I'm hearing what you're saying. Yeah.
No, that's it. Like Doctor Doom is a character that's a force to be reckoned with. And I'm not like, what kind of stories have you read or even heard about with Doctor Doom? Like what's the biggest thing you don't remember?
I wasn't really into the Fantastic Four.
That's fair.
My I vaguely remember him from. I had the Marvel trading card, so.
Okay. I watched the Comics Explained version of the Hickman's Fantastic Four, which involves the Council of Reeds and stuff like that. And Doctor Doom was not a major player in that. It was mainly just a story about Reed Richards and about his whole family life. And the moments with Doctor Doom in there, he's not like this big threat. He's not. Like, he's there to kind of help because the reality is literally hitting the fan. But there's a cool moment where, like, they basically got Doctor Doom by the balls because he had, like, an aneurysm or something like that, so his mind was dying. So they're like, okay, we'll help you if you help us. And then, with that being said, he still bitch slaps Reed Richards for being basically a dickhead to him. Or something like that. But like, you got to watch his video on it. It's actually really cool. The moments with Doctor Doom just makes him like a badass and a very arrogant badass. So if you like, imagine if, I hate to make this kind of comparison because it's so fucking cliched, but imagine if Iron Man was a villain and he actually didn't freak out and have episodes and panicked all the time. Doctor Doom does not panic. He's just calculating all the time. Anyway, I'll stop literally jerking off Doctor Doom really quick.
I need to like dive into him a little bit more. It sounds like.
Yeah. He's got his cool moments. He's definitely got his cool moments. But speaking of, before we wrap up here, I wanted to talk to you about that video actually. That whole like Hickman's run on that. This is when everyone knows there's a story where Johnny Storm dies. And that was the story in it. It was like, I don't know what part of the story it was, but he basically makes a sacrifice play because there was this portal they had to go through for some reason, and they were getting overwhelmed. And Johnny's like, listen, get to safety. I'll hold them off as long as I can. The portal closes, and then he literally just fucking gets devoured. Like, he gets destroyed and dies, and at this point, Johnny Storm has never died. Like all these other characters, like Wolverine, all these other characters have died multiple times, but like none of the Fantastic Four really have died before. So this is like a major thing, and it was such a powerful thing because like I never got emotional in comics, but like there was a time where like the issue after that, there's a whole like story, like one shot of all the characters kind of just like dealing with the loss of Johnny, and the entire comic story has no words, has no dialogue, and there's and it was cool because you have the Thing who's fucking angry at himself because he had the ability to save him, but he was kind of called off by everyone else and he was kind of forced back, and so you get the out of nowhere, like you just see him like in the middle of nowhere just fucking angry. Thor and the Hulk show up. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And they start instigating him to get his anger out, and then you see him just beat, like they let him wail on them. He starts beating the fucking shit out of them. They start fighting, and then like right after they got done fighting, it's so cool. I need to see this in a movie. Ben breaks down and starts crying, hugs Thor, and Thor's like shedding a tear for him. I'm like, fuck me, dude.
Damn, that's deep.
Dude, I was deep. I'm like getting chills thinking about it. I'm like, imagine that playing out in a movie. I'm not saying it's going to, because let's be honest here. Like, we're far beyond something like that. But like, imagine that in like a live action sense, where like it's like literally 20 minutes of no dialogue, and it's just literally the characters like showing how they're feeling. We got Reed, who hasn't shaved. He's like drinking all the time. Sue's like literally had a mental breakdown. She's in her invisible bubble. Hasn't touched Reed in days. I think it was like a whole month. They didn't say anything to each other. Ben, and then they literally sent the Hulk and Thor to like literally breaking down, crying, and then they hold. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? That shit was fucking sad. I'm not gonna lie, I had to wipe a tear.
All right, that's cool. Like I had no idea that there was a story like that. What's it called?
It was Hickman's Fantastic Four. So it's like a 3.5 hour video. I watched that in the span of like 4 different days. It's really good. But it mainly focuses on Reed and his equation, finding the solution to everything. Like what will solve all the world's problems. That's what the main focus is. And I think it was like halfway through that Johnny Storm death happens. Like pay close attention because when I heard that he's like, okay, this is the issue when Johnny Storm dies. I'm like, I was glued to the screen, and then watching that happen, I'm like, fuck me, dude. That was powerful. It was really powerful. I don't know, man. Like that's one of the I never ever got emotional in one of his like explained videos because they're comics and I'm just listening to it like it's a podcast. And every once in a while I'll look glance, I'm like, oh, that's what that character looks like. Oh, I never heard of that one. Let me see what they look like. But this one I was like glued to the screen. I was like, this is really good. So yeah, definitely give it a check there.
I haven't been like that with a comic book run since I read Civil War.
Oh, that's the one I'm going to be watching next.
Oh, dude. You got to read the fucking comic, too. Comics Explained is good. Like, I mean, or even Comic
Historian. Yeah.
They're pretty good, but, like, when I remember reading the books, and then when I listened to him do his video of it, like, I was like, oh, man. It hit home differently, just the way that he told the story.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it's hard getting the full stories of things because, again, the only comic store I have near me doesn't really have like the full issues, and I do not want to buy individual little mini packets to find all 12 of them to get the fucking full story. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to read it, the full thing in my hands.
That's how comic books
exactly.
Issued right there.
That's why they don't sell as much as they used to, because they don't have the full issues clustered together as much, and that's what kind of takes me away from like buying comics. It's just because of that, and it sucks. And I wish it was a little bit more organized, but they're just comics are really not, because I don't know what connects to what. That's why I do Comics Explained.
Yeah, that's why you go to Comics Explained, and I'm trying to keep up with the 3 Jokers. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And the Doomsday Clock thing. I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody explain it to me. So the Doomsday Clock scenario that is going on.
And then Dr. Yeah, I remember that's when he started. That's when I started really watching him. I knew of his existence. Yeah.
Check these guys out. You can totally binge them. Like,
yeah, they're very user friendly. They're very user friendly.
Right. Hundreds of videos. Shit you never even heard of. Like, I went through the whole fucking DC lineup, man. Every Batman thing he has, I've watched it.
Yeah, I did the same thing with
I soaked it up because I was behind. I was behind, like hella behind. Like, and some of it I didn't like. I didn't like the whole James Gordon as Batman scenario. That's fucking whack, dude. DC Rebirth. Whatever.
Yeah, that's it's crazy because when I started watching more of Comics Explained, I'm like, wow, this story is kind of ass. But I'm still listening to it so I can like get a full opinion afterwards. Yeah, he makes it. Yeah, because like when they're explaining it to me, like it takes a lot of the effort out because it's like watching a movie, if you will, or listening to a podcast. So I'm getting. He cuts out all the bullshit and just explains what's really important to the story. So what could have taken you like 9, 10 hours? Only takes you 2, maybe 3. Like I know his full Civil War story is 5 hours long. I did not watch Civil War 2 because I know it sucks. I'm not going to go out of my way to do it.
Civil War 2 is horrible. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
Yeah. What was the follow up? I watched Empire, Secret Empire with when Captain America was a Hydra agent. I loved that story, but one thing confused me. So I'm not sure if you know anything about this.
I know a little bit. I wasn't too thrilled about him being a Hydra agent. And shit.
So it was weird because apparently that's what I was confused with, because there was a point in time where they revealed that wasn't really Captain America. It was Captain America, but there was like 2 Captain Americas at the end of it. So there was like this weird reality where we finally got to see the actual Captain America, the one we grew up loving and knowing. And I'm like, okay, so that's like the inner Captain America that we know and love. So we got to just get that Captain America out. Okay, cool. And then at the end of it, real Captain America goes to prison and visits Hydra Captain America. I'm like, so wait, they were two separate people? So what happened? Was it like an alternate reality? That's the only thing I was confused about. But overall, it's a really good story because I'm going to assume it's an alternate reality Captain America. It's an alternate reality when Red Skull uses the Time Stone entity, the entity of the Time Stone, and manipulates Cap's mind or something like that, and makes him believe that he was raised as a Hydra agent. So he was never really a Hydra agent. It was Red Skull manipulating him to think that he was. So eventually Cap overthrows him, says, "You're not real Hydra. You're not real Hydra. So piss off, dude. Get out of here." And there was moments that Hydra Cap was actually very interesting, but I don't know. It was cool because it shows you how what happens when the leader of the Avengers, how all this bad shit happens, but at least we got Captain America, right? And then you see when he goes bad, literally everyone just goes meltdown mode because you had Civil War, then Civil War 2, then right after Civil War 2, this shit happens. And they're like, okay, we fucking give up. And there was a lot of people just listen, we can win almost anything, but the fact that Cap's a bad guy, well, fuck me. So I definitely understand why people didn't like that. I definitely do. I feel like they didn't really emphasize if that was an alternate reality Cap or not. Yeah. So maybe you give it a shot. Maybe, I don't know. That's
I'm gonna do that tonight.
Yeah, that's like a 3-hour, 4-hour one.
The Hydra one, the full Hydra one.
Yeah, it's Secret Empire. I know I'm gonna be listening to a lot of Civil War next or something. I was gonna do the Green Lantern one, but I'm like,
Civil War hit me hard.
Yeah, it's powerful. I know he gets shot at the end.
What about have you watched the Planet Hulk or World War Hulk?
I watched that one, yes, and I love that one.
Dude, I love that storyline.
I'm gonna be watching a lot of this stuff again. Yeah, dude. Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
The way he narrates the Hulk and he just, I think either I was watching Comic Storian did it, and he was and you find out what Reed and them did, and then you find out that it really wasn't them, and it's I don't want to give it away, guys, but you should definitely check out World War Hulk.
And Planet Hulk. It's Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk leads into World War Hulk, and I think World Breaker Hulk is connected to the whole World War Hulk scenario. Because is that the issue or the story when he stomps his foot in the ground and literally cracks the earth? Because I know
I get it all blurred together, bro. My head immediately goes to the arena fight where he's he's challenging him. They get that 48 hours or some shit.
Yeah.
To get your ass kicked or else that's where I go to all the time, and they try to bring out Century to help defeat Hulk because he's nah, bitch. Right. He's I can't because I can't go outside because I'm agoraphobe. Or something like that, wherever they call the people who won't go outside. But no, that's a great series. When he finds out it was Korg, that blew up the capsule that he got to that planet Sakaar with, because he felt like Hulk was becoming soft and shit, and he wanted him to become more like the Hulk, that led the rebellion and shit. It was just that's a cool series, man.
Yeah,
I like that one.
There's so many good comic stories, bro.
Good. Oh shit! If you haven't watched Old Man Logan,
that's one's on my watch list. I have literally 20 different stories on my watch list. They amount to at least, altogether, I think amounts to 37 hours worth of content. I'm gonna have to sit through, just listen to the shit. It's really good. That's what I've been doing to pass the time recently. If I'm bored and I don't want to game and I don't want to watch TV. and I'm just like, fuck, what do I do? I'm like, pop on some
Comic
Explain.
Something?
Right? Yeah, I feel like I'm getting educated in a very weird way. It's entertainment, but I'm learning. It's like basically like in a weird way, it's like history, like comic story. That's why it's like that.
It is. It's like it's learning the history of comics. It's exactly what it is. You're right.
Yeah,
it's a rich history, bro. It goes back to the 30s.
Yeah, bro. And I'm like sitting here thinking, I'm like, wow, that would be a great story. But again, I know if this turns into a film, there's gonna be liberties taken, which sucks. But that's the art of an adaptation.
Liberties.
Yeah.
Right. Extreme liberties.
Yeah. Again, I'm like going back to the whole Age of Ultron thing. I'm glad they fucking changed that story up. Like Ultron didn't make an appearance until like the fucking ending. Oh, I don't even think he made an appearance if I'm thinking about it. I don't think he made an appearance in that entire comic. Like his Ultron bots literally melted the Avengers, and then the rest of that was just Wolverine in the past with Invisible Woman. Like he's there with Sue.
Are you talking about the original Age of Ultron or the newer Age of Ultron?
I forget when this. I don't know when this one came out.
You'll be able to tell by the panels, like with the panels.
I think they would look pretty decent. They were not like 60s, 70s. No, it was like more modernized. So
I think there's two versions. I'm not sure. Webhead, if you're still hanging around.
He is.
Okay.
Let us know if there's two, because I think there is two different Age of Ultrons, but that one was kind of ass. Again, 2 hours of just sub hopelessness. They find Nick. Some of the Avengers go to the future. Wolverine's like, fuck that. I wanted to kill Hank, so I'm going to go kill Hank. Sue sneaks off, who was actually supposed to be part of that team that goes to the future. Sue's like, no, I know Wolverine's going to go sneak off and try to kill Hank, so let me go do that. And then he fucking kills Hank, and there was a cool debate of like what's crossing the line, this and this. That was cool and all, but then he just fucking kills him and then goes to the future. He sees this reality where it's all fucked up. He comes back, convinces his past self to not kill Hank, and then he's like, I can't go back to the future. There's two Wolverines, and plus the shit I've seen, the mistakes I made, I can't live with it anymore. So he lets his past self go kill him, and then he just walks away. I'm like, what? What happened? Literally nothing. Let's see what he said. Yeah, some writers are better than others, and that's the thing about comics. There's only one Age of Ultron story. Okay. So there's probably the better one's probably not called Age of Ultron, but it's probably just like a different Ultron story, like a Wrath of Ultron or something like that.
Ultron's been around
for a while. Yeah, he's been around since like I think the 70s. He's been around a while, and again, I would like to see a new story with him when he's actually like get some Judgment Day shit going on there and see what he does with that, because I think that would be pretty cool. Again, Marvel, we love you. Reboot, just restart, because right now
I don't love you. Don't speak for me.
I love you. Restart. Like
I like it. I don't love it. I'm DC diehard all the way.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a good Green Lantern story, dude. I'm waiting for that like the second the War of Light starts. That's when I'm not leaving. Like already, like let's say COVID was it was Brightest Day, Blackest Night. Well, technically it was Blackest Night, then Brightest Day. Because the war happens, and then that's when the White Lantern rings are kind of created. Yeah, and then everyone gets a White Lantern ring, but it's still Kyle Rayner, who's like the main White Lantern, who literally patrols the exterior of the universe and shit like that. Whatever, comics. So,
whatever.
Yeah, because there's no end to the universe, but whatever, it's whatever. There's literally a wall.
That may not be the case. But that's not for this podcast. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. But like just think about this on a visual standpoint. Like you got like beams of red, orange, and just like you literally get the fucking rainbow, and you see just a goddamn war zone. I think that'll be fucking sick. And then Necrom is a villain. I want something like to build up to as a Justice League level threat. Like like again, imagine.
They can do so much. I can't wait till they start introducing other Lantern Corps. That's going to be the badass.
Yeah, because like,
dude,
in Green Lantern,
I so badly want a ring of every lantern, like not
dude,
a fake cheap plastic.
Like to get the real shit, like the good shit. Oh my god, dude!
All of them.
Dude, I would get that.
To yourself, what kind of lantern you'd probably be?
I did. I actually took the test. I forget if it was the official test. I'm not a fan of the people I'm with because.
But like you know your own self. Like I have great will, so I know I could be a lantern. But I really do have like too much rage. I'd be a Red Lantern, I think.
Yeah, I took the test, and I'll be the Indigo Tribe. Which sucks because I'm gonna dude, I'm gonna learn the fucking oath, and guess what? They're the one goddamn corps that does not speak English. They don't have a translated version. Even Jeff Johns is like, yeah, no, we don't have the translated version. Good luck. I'm like, so I'm looking at this thing. I'm trying to be awesome and cool. I'm like, yo, here's my corps and here's my oath. I look at the thing. I'm like,
ooh, what's the oath of the Red Lanterns? Because that's totally. Like, I would be a Sith. I would be a Red Lantern. I'm sorry. It would just be the...
I mean, like, there's a thing with dual wielding. You could dual wield. You could be like a fucking, the Guy Gardner, who literally just wields red and green.
Oh, that'd be badass. I guess I'm more of a Guy Gardner than I want to be.
Yeah. I mean, I know, who was it? I think it was, I think it was Hal that wielded blue and green. There was someone who wielded blue and green. Blue is cool and all. I love Saint Walker. But the Blue Lanterns are pretty much useless without their bitch boy Green Lanterns. Like, like without them, they're useless. And their purpose is really just to power up the Green Lantern rings. Like, they're not really, like, seeking war or anything like that, because they're all hope and monks and shit like that. Like, you got a fucking elephant.
Rage of crimson red, ripped from a corpse so fleshy dead, together with our hellish hate, we'll burn you all, that's your fate.
It's kind of badass.
Damn. Am I that fucking menacing? I don't know.
I mean, like, the whole thing with Atrocitus...
What's the Lantern Corps ring for him is badass.
It is pretty badass. Like, I know, like, Atrocitus is, like, he's some old fucker, dude, that, like, he watched his entire family and race get murdered by the goddamn, I'm trying to remember the robots' names. It was the robots that the Guardians created, the Manhunters. A bunch of Manhunters murdered his entire planet, and that's why he got so fucking angry that he actually created the Red Lantern Corps. And so the Manhunters end up disappearing in like this like forbidden sector. That's the forbidden sector that you're not allowed to touch. And that's where the Manhunters kind of like are imprisoned or just chilling out. And I feel like that would be a cool story arc to build up with.
Yeah, that would be, dude. That would be fucking kind of like they could do so much. And I don't know if I have that much rage. I'm reading into the Red Lantern Corps.
Well, the thing is, if you have enough rage in you, enough hate, the ring fuels that, makes you more angry. So it's not that you have that kind of because the rage. If you have that kind of level of rage where you just have a fucking massive temper.
Well, you know me. There's a little bit of a
there's a sass to you, but I don't think you're Red Lantern worthy. But if you have that kind of anger and you put on the ring, you lose your shit. Like the ring consumes you. It fuels your anger. That's why Guy Gardner was like a fucking menace, because he has like Guy Gardner has a temper, but he's not like Atrocitus, where he was like sitting on his hands and knees covered in blood from his own family, just so pissed off at the world. But he still got consumed by the ring. I think the Red Lantern ring is the only ring core that forces its user. Like all the other rings, you can choose to deny it. Like Batman denied the Yellow Lantern ring. He's like, nah, I'm good. And they're like, oh fuck, he's got a lot of will. Get away, run. And but and Batman's like, what the fuck just happened? But like, with the Red Lantern ring, it doesn't give a shit. It's gonna latch onto you and it's gonna fuel your rage, therefore getting it more powerful.
What about the Black Lantern Corps?
That you have no choice because if you're in that core, you're dead. So if you're dead,
those are the zombie. Those are the
yeah. That's why I want to see Necrom, dude, because like that was so cool. Because I think that was after like Crisis on Infinite Earths. So you saw like all these dead superheroes and shit like that just come back from the dead with Black Lantern rings. I'm like, this is fucking sick. And dude, oh my god, I would love to see that on the big screen. If it's on HBO Max, listen, HBO Max has a budget of a fucking studio. I mean, like, you can say what you want about the ending of Game of Thrones or whatever, but if you look at that shit production-wise, for a TV show, that's cinematic quality. There's points in time I'm like, oh, that was iffy. Like, visually speaking, that's iffy. But still, visually, ooh, beautiful, beautiful stuff. And that's why I'm really, really, really excited. And they're going to have to do a lot of cheating because unless they want this fucking TV show to have a budget of $700 million, I know they're going to have practical suits. Thank God. Practical suits. And like maybe touched up with some like lights attached to it to give that glowing feel. But like that full CG shit in Green Lantern 2011 was dog shit. Awful. Hey, Candy.
Dude, I think it... Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
I think I mean the suit could have been done better.
Yeah. I saw what they were going with, but again, I feel like practical was the way to go with that. Like, don't get me wrong, the DC
practical with some CGI enhancement.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. People are just like the kind of people who are like, let's just banish CG. Like, no, get that shit out the window. You got to blend the both. That's when CG is the greatest because you blend practical and visual and use it as a tool, not as a reliance. Oh my god, dude, the fucking shit you can get away with. Oh my god, this is like, again, like what was it? One of the more recent DC animated films, I think it was like 2015, 2016. You saw a Green Lantern suit, like it looks practical, and then you see like these cool like patterns of light on the suit. I'm like, that's what I want. Get this badass suit, right, and then enhance it with some lighting on it. You can get fucking cool.
Dude, you could, like I said, use it as an enhancement, and you could have done a lot of cool things with that suit.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think that the filmmakers were just like, nah, man.
It's full CG yet. We're not doing it.
It's gonna be so rad.
It's gonna be radical, dude.
It's gonna be totally radical. I got this program I use on my computer at home.
It's called Adobe Premiere Pro.
And you could add I could do the whole thing in CG, like on my computer at home.
Okay,
you want to do it that way, guys?
Dude, okay. As a Green Lantern fan, that film insulted me. You know why? Look at the three main villains in that entire film. Parallax, massive forehead. The dude that screamed a lot, massive forehead. Sinestro, massive forehead. What the fuck am I looking at? I'm like, they're like, villainy equals massive forehead. I'm glad they didn't get a sequel because imagine what they did with Atrocitus. Massive forehead. I'm like, no, stop. Like, no, the cat that Atrocitus owns, I forget what it's called, but that thing is a fucking dick. Don't let that thing touch you, but like the cat will have a massive ass forehead too. It's like, I have a big brain. It's just like, dude, what a just terrible design, dude. Like, okay, I want to hear what your thoughts on this before we wrap up because we are really overstaying our welcome.
What I sent you?
No, what you send me?
I sent you a ring.
Oh, dude, that's fucking sick. Dude, get that shit like aluminum like mixed with metal and shit like that.
Right.
Oh, dude. Oh god, I'm gonna get that. Like I know I'm gonna get like all the lantern rings and like plaster that on my wall.
Eventually, that's something I'm going to do too.
Yeah, like I already told you, the one tattoo I want is like all the lantern rings. But then I got the pricing. I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for that. It was like fucking like ridiculous amount of money. It was like $300 something. I'm like, nah.
I was thinking about doing my ring finger and doing just tattooing a Green Lantern ring on there.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. That's gonna hurt like a bitch though.
I know, but I want to do the red one. I think that'd be badass, wouldn't it?
Do the one like the one middle finger be red and the one other middle finger be green because that's where they normally hold the ring the rings is their middle unless you're like
the ring. Well, I
it's
thought
not the ring finger.
would be kind of cool. Because
I mean, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
What I mean? Like, it could be like my wedding ring, but it's also, hey, that's a tattoo, but is that and people would go, is that a fucking Red Lantern ring? I'm like, yeah, you're my best friend now.
That's so rad, isn't it? Right?
Nobody will get it, but I would.
I'm like, you're looking at your finger, and you're like, that's so cool, dude. Like, again, the one thing that Green Lantern lore has over everything else is just like this massive backstory. Like, there's so much lore to it. Like, I forget who helped lead the Indigo tribe, but I think it was like Saint Walker or someone. It was someone who led the Indigo tribe, because they're a bunch of criminals who turned good because they're compassionate. They are filled with mercy. That's their entire purpose. And so they're just trying to do better with themselves, but they're like, they never fucking speak a lick of English. So that's what I'm supposed to be with. I won't be able to like have a conversation over bread or like over some sandwiches or some shit like that. I won't be able to talk to them. They're like, Ikibiku opakakili. I'm like, what?
The ring will translate for you.
That is true. I did forget about that. Too bad that Jeff Johns, it was like, you know what? We're not going to translate this, even though the ring can translate for you. It's fine. It's fine. But I think that's a cool turnaround, though, because when you look at like the MCU, it's just something you're going to have to just take out of your head. Like, these are alien creatures that never heard the concept of English, but you're just listening to them talk to each other. That's something that, as a viewer, you're just going to have to take. But some people will nitpick that. I'm like, oh, they're talking in English. What the fuck? I'm like, it's a fucking movie about a purple dude with 6 rainbow stones. Get over it. That's not the one thing you should be bitching about. Like, there's things I bitch about that some people are like, oh, it's a film about 6 5. But that's one of those things that, what do you want to watch? A 2.5 hour action film and you have to fucking stop the fight scene so you can read the subtitles? No, thank you. And to be honest, I don't really love subtitle films. There's only like a handful of subtitle films I actually liked. When I was over in Italy, I had to watch what was it? The Two Towers in Italian. So that was fun. Oh, that was that was a fucking hike, dude. But I'm like, yeah, it's fine, because I can read the dialogue really quick and look up and just see these wide angle shots. Thank God the dude knew how to actually hold the camera angle for more than 4 frames. Because then I would have been fucked. I would have been so fucked. I'm just like seeing all these colors and shit changing. I'm just having a seizure while I'm trying to stare at the wording and stuff like that. Fuck me, dude. Okay, let's read this last comment before we head off. Gump, if you have the time, watch Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It's based on the comics and managed to make its own thing. Watch it production order, by the way, because Disney Plus messed it up. LOL. When I get the time, I will. I'm finishing up Community right now. I'm on season 3. It's a great show. If you haven't watched Community, it's a funny-ass show. It's got a lot of raunchy-ass jokes. I just sit there laughing. I still think season 1 was my favorite. Season 2 was really good. Right now, season 3, I'm only like 3 or 4 episodes in. It's all right. But if you guys love fucked up humor or just overall good comedy, I think that's the show to watch. It's created by the same guy who created Rick and Morty. I think this is funnier, though. I watched a couple episodes of Rick and Morty. I'm like, yeah, this is funny. Then this, I'm like, there's times where I'm cracking up, and which is rare for me to crack up watching a TV show.
In Community?
Yeah, Community. Yeah, I rarely
you crack up when you see those one guys on, right?
What one guys?
The player that the actor, what's his name? Donald Glover, his character, right?
Yeah, he's funny. No, he's not what usually makes me crap. There's I'm at the point now where like I know these characters so well, like a couple of their reactions or stuff like that is just genuinely funny, or the situations they get themselves into are genuinely funny. It's very cartoonish in a very grounded world, and if that makes sense. No, but the person that usually makes me bust my ass laughing is Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is usually the one that makes me crack up.
Chevy Chase, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a main character. He's one of the 7 main characters. He's an old racist. He's a fucking racist, and the shit he says, oh my god, I'm surprised. I mean, he's a general racist, a genuine racist, I should say. So yeah, that's not cool. But his character is fucking hilarious because it's a fictional character. So he's just saying some fucked up shit, and I'm like, oh dude, that's fucked up. You can't say that, and it just makes you laugh. I love the main character, Jeff Winger. He's I'm not gonna say the word because you're gonna make fun of me. He's the guy that goes to court.
A lawyer.
No, it's lawyer. It's lawyer. But anyway, but yeah, you should watch the show. It's on Netflix. Well, anyways, guys, we're gonna leave it there. What was that? 2 hours. What a great podcast. One topic, and we managed to stretch that shit out to 2 hours. That's great, dude. That's what I call a good podcast. Give us a clap, Chris. Clap, Chris. Clap. You're not clapping. There we go. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, this was a great time. I'm not gonna lie. I had my suspicions that this was gonna be an interesting one. I'm like, we talk about Marvel. It's gonna hit the fucking hay. So
right.
Yeah,
Marvel, Star Wars, Batman. We're gonna start talking.
Yeah, it's just like we'll find an angle, another route. We'll be like, ooh, I want to talk about that though. That's why I love podcasts. You just get to sit here, shoot the shit, no script, just go with the flow. Well, anyways, guys, you can follow me on Twitter, Gumps_videos. You can. You know what, Chris? Where can they find you and promote the film? You know what to do.
Huh?
Promote the film. You know what to do.
You can find you can if you're curious at all, you can find me on Twitter at Chris_Hicks1138. And also, Gump and I are co-producing and co-writing a feature film not based off of, paying homage to the classic slasher films of the early 80s and late 70s, entitled The Last Thanksgiving. You can check us out on Twitter as well at The Last Thanksgiving. Yeah.
And that's going to be it for today, guys. This was a great podcast, and hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you on Monday for my Cuphead video. Peace.